What's going on, guys? Nico here with TheFloatLife, and Onewheel just released their brand new, I believe it's the 6208, new firmware for the GTS series. They added in a ton of new features, changed a bunch of different things, customs all dialed up with some new parameters to check out. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a good old rip, just some one-on-one time with my GTS series. And we're gonna see how it compares to the old update, see what we like, see what we don't like, maybe see what things we wanna see them update in the future. And yeah, so nothing too organized. I think we're just gonna go for a fun ride and see how it goes.
And I'm bored, there's nothing to do at the shop, so I'm here along for the ride too. Let's go!
Let's go! They made a lot of tweaks to the general landing behavior and also re-engagement behavior, basically to help ensure, like, even if the board disengages for whatever reason,
in the air,
anything like that.
Tabletops like Austin Silva.
Exactly.
Feet are off because you're up in your hooks.
It's gonna catch you. It's gonna re-engage, get you right back up to level no matter what angle you land at. And the idea is basically, they didn't want to do something similar to Vesk where we kind of prioritize just keeping the board engaged, like no matter what.
Faults.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instead, they're letting the board disengage.
Slow down, boys, slow down. How fast? Wait, hang on. How fast are we going? 9 miles an hour.
What about it?
We're too fast.
Oh yeah,
you gotta
too
slow
fast.
down. 9 miles an hour is too fast, in case anyone's curious.
Yeah. But instead of that Vesk approach, they haven't done anything that keeps the board engaged better. Instead, they still let it disengage in those situations, but it is much more likely to re-engage and keep you upright. So I don't know if that has to do with what just happened back there.
Maybe.
But, oh, he's going for something.
Yeah, you're taking the shortcut. I'm taking the fun route, dude.
Woo!
Woohoo! Oh, plus we get hit back up here.
Oh, you got the nudge up there. All right.
And these stairs are always fun.
Woo! Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying that on this thing.
Yeah, oh, it's too bad I don't want to, because I am terrified of stair dropping on FM firmware, because usually it just like wheels out on me, at least it used to. I don't know if the new update keeps the nose held better like a Vesk. Maybe it does, I don't know. You know who's not gonna test it? This guy. I don't trust it. Nico's got a bad knee today. He's using the old Jeff excuse. Oh, my knee hurts. Yeah. Heard that one before, bucko.
Hey, well, while we're here, the first thing I wanted to check out is they updated the turning behavior. So right now, I've just got it in stock flow. I haven't changed any of the settings. It's just 0 on roll, 0 on yaw. And now the stock like default behavior for this turning is it keeps the nose up like much better.
So they had turn tilt previously built in.
Yes.
Right? They didn't have it for the longest time. And when you would turn sharp at slow speeds, the corner of your nose would scrape into the ground and get hung up. You'd fall sometimes.
Yeah.
It sucked. They built in a turn tilt system. It's not called turn compensation.
Yeah, they call it turn compensation. They included it in custom before on GT, and it's always had, it doesn't quite feel like a Vesk. It's always had a little bit of an artificial feeling.
Yeah, it feels like it starts to dip and then kind of catches you and picks you back up, as opposed to just maintaining a straight line.
Correct. Yeah. So they did two things. One, they've dialed that in a bit more so it just feels a bit smoother. I will say, and you can try it out for yourself, it's still not quite as like natural feeling as Vesk, but it does feel smoother, at least to me. Okay. And then the other thing they did is change what it is by default. So if you have those set to 0, 0, by default, it does keep the nose up a lot better than it did before.
Okay.
So it's basically like a new baseline.
The new baseline is more aggressive turn compensation.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So does that mean that when you really crank up turn compensation now, it's just like super tight?
I mean, we could give it a shot.
Because we cranked it up before, and when you would crank it all the way up, it would almost buck.
I know they changed all the ranges so that max and like the maximum value and minimum value are still within like reasonable, like before you could really crank turn compensation, like more than you'd ever need to. And I think they dialed that back a bit. So it's probably not like crazy maxed out, but that's just default.
Ooh, it got a little snappy on me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be that jump re-engagement stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this set to?
That's just 0, 0. That's the stock tune.
Wait, that's 0?
Yeah.
Whoa, it's crazy feeling. It's definitely higher than a Vesk on 0. So I've got my turn compensation, or turn tilt on Vesk set to 0.
Yeah.
I'm baseline out, and it feels like it gives me a more of a natural nose in flow as opposed to this at 0, definitely feels a lot tighter.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like,
oh, it's still got a little bit of the pulsing?
Yeah.
Not way less though.
At first, it feels tighter, right?
Yeah.
But if you do a long extended turn and you're like accelerating out of a turn or something like that, it still does feel like it keeps the nose lower coming out of that turn.
Oh, you're right. Oh, that's weird.
So it's just different.
Okay, so what it is at 0 miles an hour and you go to turn, it feels way tighter.
Yeah.
And then once you start moving and getting into it, you're right, it feels looser. Yeah. And then one other thing that I'm noticing as well is when you come back to straight after turning, it really yanks the nose back up.
Yeah.
Like it yanks it up fast. And I think that's a big difference too.
Yeah.
So like when I'm going and I turn and then I go back to straight, it like yanks it back to almost nose up a touch.
Yeah.
It feels like. Probably to give you more gas like out of a tight turn.
Yeah, I know I think they talked about having it so at slower speeds, it's stiffer in general.
Yeah.
So that would explain why it keeps the nose lower if you're actually turning at speed. It's a little bit of a shame you can't configure like at speed versus how it is at low speed.
Yeah.
But that's how it is right now. And then all these things we're experiencing that like feels a little bit off. Maybe you could dial that in a bit more just by messing with custom.
Yeah.
With roll and yaw. We're not gonna mess with that too much today, but we just wanted to test, the new turning behavior in general, see how it feels. Because this default, like that's what they decided should be like the most applicable in like normal riding,
Oh.
So.
That's maybe something I don't like. If you start to get the wobbles on it like that, and your nose is shifting left to right as well as rolling
it starts
at the
to
same
keep the nose really up.
It starts to affect the nose and crank it as well, which to me gives me like more speed wobbles.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing, and that's another reason why on Vesk, like someone like you like having turn tilt to 0.
Yeah.
Because there's a point where when you have more and more turn compensation like that, it can get pretty wobbly.
Now, can you go negative on the turn compensation?
Yeah, totally. Want me to just send you full negative and see how it feels?
Okay.
All right, go ahead and give that a shot.
Oh yeah, that's. Oh, that's even. Oh, that's even less than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, granted, this is the max you can like lower it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world that you can go past what it used to be,
Well, it's funny because it's tight like this. It's tighter like this than it is now at the angle.
The tune almost like
softens.
softens.
Gets softer when you roll the board.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So like, let's say I start to, yeah, so there you go. So that definitely reduces the speed wobbles by turning that down if you get out of control and start sort of shifting back and forth like that. So there's probably a happy medium in there that personally I'd be happy with, is like not all the way down, but sort of just a touch below default. It's
split across 2 parameters, roll and yaw. They haven't really put out anything explaining too well what each of them does.
Yeah.
So we're not going to mess with it too much right now, just because we got plenty of other things to check out.
Cool.
But that's something that I would like to take some time at some point and figure out myself exactly what each one does.
Maybe get Neil out here to help. He always seems to be willing to help with the turn compensation stuff and the tuning, so
yeah. So we're not gonna get too much into it, but if you guys wanna see a video going really in depth on custom and I can just go in and kind of reverse engineer what everything's doing, I think we can do that.
We could do that.
So
once you get some free time.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Bonk to downhill, bonk to down.
Yoo-hoo! All right, so I'm in flow, no gradient tracking or anything.
Oh, Nico came hot into that one.
There was like no tail on that too. Yeah. That was actually pretty damn good.
That was surprising.
Yeah, that was my first time I've bonked on a GTS and who fucking knows how long.
Look, and you got junk in the landing too. Nice.
Maybe it got lucky on that one. Let's give it one more shot.
Well, that's the thing I've always found is like most of the time it's totally fine, and then every once in a while it just catches you off guard and just like wants to accelerate and keep your tail into the ground.
Yeah, that's what, so GTS has always been like, if you really know how to ride the board and have perfect technique, it's great.
Yeah.
But it seems to have less like wiggle room with like imperfection.
Yeah.
If you land slightly forward or slightly back or anything like that, it like really wants to shoot out on you.
Yeah. So if you're Austin Silva and you lace everything perfect, it's like awesome.
But I rarely ride the GTS, so that's why I always have an issue with it. Yeah. But that was first try, so I'm pretty impressed.
He was coming in hot too.
Woo!
There's the roll.
That was skill issue. Right or error.
Hey, hey, no hooks, no problem, right, man?
Go for it.
I'm gonna go less fast than Nico.
Yeah, I gotta say, that feels amazing on drops.
Well, good. So thumbs up on new bonk to drop tail drag behavior?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely a small sample size, but
yeah, you got 2.5 bonks. What are you talking about? That's plenty,
exactly.
Right?
So far, it's feeling pretty damn good. Now, one other thing they also changed was gradient tracking behavior. I haven't had it turned on yet, but they not totally revamped, but they did change a lot of things about it. One of those is they made the downhill gradient tracking, you can brake a lot easier. So if you're like creeping down a really steep downhill, you can really keep low speed. Because before, they had trouble getting gradient tracking to work anything below like 4 miles an hour or something like that.
Oh, so you couldn't crawl very well.
Yeah, you couldn't really do steep downhills where you could crawl down it and like prevent yourself from gaining speed.
There's a steep hill right here.
That's what we should go check out.
Yeah.
And then we can try the same thing climbing and see if it does any better climbing as well.
Oh, poops.
I was about to say, there's no way, but that's actually doable. Hey!
Oh my God, anti-steez on that one. Just straight legged up top like this.
Totally. The idea here is there's a lot of like technical terrain, really steep trails that right now with gradient tracking, you could crush up them now, ever since they added in gradient tracking. But going down, you would still kind of, you have to keep accelerating to keep the tail off the ground.
Yeah.
So hopefully now,
so you're gonna
if I
try
bump
like a
this,
slow speed crawl down.
I'm just gonna try to crawl down this as slow as I can.
So this is like the same effect of like doing a remote free, hold the nose down while you slowly go down.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
The idea here is to unlock terrain that before you could only really do safely with a remote, right? So I'm just gonna crank downhill all the way, plus 10, plus 10.
Woo,
by the way, that is another thing. They split up uphill and downhill. So I can have, like in my normal riding, I actually don't really like downhill gradient tracking or ATR. So I can keep that mellow while keeping uphill really cranked so I can crush uphills without it dropping the nose on me awkwardly on downhills.
Well, that'll be a cool feature.
I also bumped into Highline, so we'll see how fast this kicks in and how slow I can crawl down this. Yeah, maybe not the best one to do this on. So it wasn't immediate.
No, you could tell when it kicked in. It kicked in like 4 feet, 5 feet too late almost.
Yeah, I still try to hold on to it, but it's still tail drag.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this is the best example of it, you know, not working or something like that.
I'd be really impressed if you made it up this one from right there.
Let's try it. Oh, there's no way. Oh, yeah.
Oh, what?
So
that was impressive.
I will say, and I've tried the GTS gradient tracking before, it gets a lot stiffer on uphills now. Before it would kind of change the set point, but the tune kind of still feels the same. But now it really stiffens up as well when you're going uphill.
That was impressive.
Yeah, that was pretty sick actually. That was cranked all the way up, but I had also plenty of nose clearance, so I could dial it back and still
had 6 inches under your nose
make
there.
it probably. Yeah, so part of that is also with gradient tracking, before it only kicked in on uphills and downhills, they actually added in something really similar to, if anyone's familiar with VES, you know, torque tilt back. Essentially what that is as you're accelerating or as you're braking, even on flat ground, it's gonna resist you. It's gonna lift the nose as you're pushing down into it. It's gonna lift the tail as you're pushing back on the tail. So now, even on this flat ground, we should actually see a difference in how the board rides. Essentially what it does is it should allow you to have a really soft tune, like a soft flow or something like that, and it feels normal in like most riding situations.
But then if you really
really crank it, it should really help keeping the nose up out of the ground. So we're gonna try that. I'm not gonna go too hard on it. I'll just go in stock flow. No gradient tracking. And if I try to really crank on the nose, it's pretty easy.
pretty easy to nose drag.
Yeah, you get really limited in how hard you can accelerate. So if I'm doing like a drag race start or something in a race, I'm really bottlenecked there. So now without changing anything else on the tune,
just gradient tracking.
Just gradient tracking. Uphill is gonna affect how it is on the nose, and downhill is gonna affect how it is on the brakes. So I'm gonna crank both.
He's cranking both.
We'll see how different that feels, if at all. Oh yeah.
Way stiffer now.
Way stiffer. Brakes too, I can like, if you're like at speed, you'd be able to brake super hard. So if you're riding like high speeds, especially in traffic or something like that, that's gonna really help you be able to have some like emergency brakes, I think.
So gradient tracking no longer needs a gradient to track.
I guess.
Cool.
It does add an interesting dynamic of like, if you wanted strong gradient tracking, but still want a really loose board, it makes it a little tougher for that. Yeah, I have it really cranked right now, so maybe it isn't the best example, but in theory, it would allow me to have like a generally softer tune, but it can still get cranked if I'm doing like hard acceleration or anything like that. While we're here, there's actually another big change. Okay. Another.
So many changes in this update.
Advanced pushback. So this is the one.
This is the most exciting update in my opinion.
Yeah, it's what they really focused on in their video, and it's my personal favorite new addition. I think it's kind of a historical like landmark at this point.
It's what everyone's been asking for since the Pint came out.
Yeah, this is gonna allow you to, I mean, I'm thinking a racing context, right? Like for years and years outside of VESC, anyone riding an FM board has just been racing with pushback kicking in. You're riding pushback like almost all of the time,
you have
right?
Limited steering, you have limited brakes.
Yeah, when your nose,
and you're just cranked like this.
When your nose is up like that, it's like handling's really limited. Your tail's just scraping all over the place, especially if you're like booking into it downhill. Yeah. It's sketchy. Yeah. So this new pushback update adds two major things. One, you can change the pushback angle it's at. Cool. So they have a new slider in custom, right? And it starts at what it's always been. It feels the same, I tested it out. But you can go -5, and that brings it down from, I wanna say like a 5-degree angle pushback to more like 3-degree angle. Okay. So it feels basically like XR pushback. Like it's actually pretty sick.
To where people used to say, I didn't even feel pushback and then I crashed because it was so mellow and great that no one felt it.
Exactly. Yeah. But for all,
does it give you a warning when you change it?
That's what I'm surprised by. I would have thought they'd have some kind of warning.
Like oh, I realize that I'm turning down a safety feature.
Yeah, like when they used to have the beeper on it, when you go to shut off the beeper, it had like a big pop-up.
They'd be like, don't do it. We're gonna let you do it, but don't do it.
The pushback is there, but it's a lot more like XR pushback. The haptic buzz is still there. No getting rid of that. Okay. But on a GTS, that's at 25 miles an hour. It's not that big of a deal, honestly.
I've found pushback on the GTS for me personally isn't really that big of a deal because I'm rarely going over 25 miles an hour. I just don't have it in me anymore. Yeah. So now I'm happy in the low 20s these days. Keep it mellow.
Now, if you really wanted to, you can also make pushback more aggressive. Make it more like Pint pushback or like the very first GT update if you really wanted to.
Right when the GT first shipped and the pushback was so horrendous. Yeah. They had to do like an emergency firmware push out to be like, all right, sorry, we realized that was maybe too much.
Totally. So I don't know why you'd want that, but you can. And then the other thing they changed is, and this was actually something I recommended in the Facebook groups, and it's pretty awesome that they're actually taking community feedback and trying to implement it. Essentially, one big issue with pushback, like we talked about, it has your tail really down, so your braking is really limited.
Yeah, it's speed.
So like, it's not a huge deal if like it starts to kick in and then you start braking, but let's say you're riding at 30 miles an hour. There's that like 5 mile an hour window where you have to brake with that like minimal tail clearance before it stops dropping. So now the moment you start braking, it's gonna kick off pushback, even if you're above the pushback speed.
I think it's great because the whole point of pushback is to get you to brake.
Exactly.
The whole point of pushback is say, hey, get on your brakes.
And if you're actively braking, you don't really need the warning anymore.
Yeah, you can't actively brake and accelerate at the same time. So I think that's a great new feature.
So that was a lot of talking, but I want to demonstrate this. I don't think we're going to demonstrate it at 25 miles an hour today. It's also harder to get on video. I don't want to make Lige go 25 miles an hour.
Oh, Lige will go 25, bro. He doesn't care. You kidding me? He's good. 63 volts.
Hey, I've gone 26 on an XR. So we're gonna pop this into bay.
So the lowest possible shaping with the earliest onset pushback.
Yeah, this says pushback. I want to say like 10 miles an hour, something like that.
Does haptic buzz also kick in at like 10?
It does.
Yeah. Oh,
so you'll hear it. This fucker. All right, so we're gonna test this out in bay. So it's gonna kick in at about 10 miles an hour or so.
Nice and slow.
And just to demonstrate, we're gonna start with the default pushback. This is what it's always been in terms of the angle.
So regular GTS pushback that everyone's used to.
Yeah, this is what everyone's come to know and not so much love. It'll kick in pretty quick. Here we go. So this is max pushback. Not the most comfortable to ride at.
Oh,
Your handling's really limited. Although I will say, even at this like extreme pushback angle, now if I go to brake, it's still not the best, but it does start lifting the tail back up pretty quickly. So it's still a lot safer than it was before. So that's really nice. But now, if I go in custom and lower pushback angle limit from 0 to -5, those numbers are meaningless. It's just a random -5 to 5 scale.
Okay, yep.
All right.
Whoa, she's honking at you.
And that's maxed. So that's like, this is basically XR pushback. Maybe even a little less. Maybe even a little less than XR pushback. I mean, you can check it out yourself. Like, you want to try it out?
Yeah, just jump right now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so boom, regular ride. There's the pushback. Yeah, that's XR. That's XR style pushback. You definitely feel it. It's definitely pushback still. It's not like you can completely get rid of pushback.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'd say it's a lot dude, bay feels funny.
What's up?
Bay feels
just
funny.
bay in general.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to try that maxed out pushback?
Oh.
Or you want me to try it out?
Nope. Put me on max pushback. You know how much I love pushback. It's my favorite thing.
Someone's got to try it.
It's not like I've been trash talking pushback for 10 years now.
All right,
we ready?
If you want the safest board possible, guys, you're gonna want to buy a GTS series, put it in bay,
okay,
and max out the pushback.
I'm feeling pretty safe already, honestly.
We'll see how aggressive it is.
Okay, ride normal. Oh, there's, oh man. Whoa, dude, this is full on. Whoa, it feels Captain Morgan low battery pushback style.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's full on low battery pushback. Look how close my tail, oh, whoa, and what's crazy is when you've got the settings maxed out like that.
Yeah, it starts like oscillating.
Brake, it instantly lifts that tail up for braking.
Can I try that real quick?
Yeah, it like almost bucks you.
Yeah, I mean, it's your tail's near the ground. It's kind of gotta if you want to brake.
Yeah, no reasonable person's gonna ride with that setting, but it feels crazy when you go to brake.
I do want to see how that feels. Oh my God, yeah, this is worse than the original GT. That's so weird. There was a point where it was still max buzzing, but it's going up and down. Ugh. I guess sometimes it thinks it picks up pretty quick. It picks up the tail moment you start
if
braking.
You're not paying attention and you just like go to D weight, if you kind of go to D weight, where you drop the tail down, lift the nose up, and just kind of do one of those, like you got a bump coming up, it wants to do this on you.
It starts leveling out before you even realize you're braking.
Yes. Yeah.
I do imagine there will still be a crowd out there that's like, I just want to be able to turn pushback off. Honestly, I mean, I'm someone that actually in my like race tunes on Vesk, I actually kind of have it simulating pushback a little bit. When you're at like 25 miles an hour, it is kind of nice to have a little bit of something to push against, especially if you're in like chunk or something like that.
Yeah.
So in a racing context, I think this is perfect.
I think it's way better than it was before.
Yeah.
For sure,
yeah.
Way better than it was before. And again, with the GTS and pushback at 25, I feel like that mellow, you're just splitting hairs now if you're like, well, I want to get rid of it completely.
Totally,
You know, so,
totally.
I don't know, I get it. I'm anti-pushback club forever, for sure. But I feel like that's so much better now.
Yeah, it is
way
definitely
better.
So much better.
Yeah. So any regular cruising speed you're in, you cruise in up to 25 miles an hour. You shouldn't be going more than 25 around town anyway, really.
Yeah.
Like realistically. Well, what other types of features are they? Did we cover everything in the update?
I think we about covered everything. Really, there's a lot of like extra details.
The reactivation behavior.
Yes. So this is one thing I want to touch on. We kind of talked about it a little bit before. Along with the landing behavior, They changed the reactivation behavior. This is something they did on the XR Classic, actually, when they were trying to make it like a reliable street board.
Yeah.
With sensor activation.
It feels like it's got a lot of Bodhi influence in it.
Totally.
Because like I'm sure you've seen 100 different old FloatLife videos where we like land a trick
Perfect.
and the nose just gives out and we just hit the ground and it just doesn't activate because it has to activate at this perfect angle right here. So yeah, now it'll activate, you know, if you're off for just a microsecond or whatever, you're off for less than, I don't know what they timed it to. But
we can check it real quick, but it's basically like a second and a half maybe.
Yeah.
It gives you a window where after you deactivate, the angle that's required to reactivate it is a lot wider. So instead of being
way bigger,
instead of needing to be dead bolts, you can instead land a little bit tail down or a little bit nose down. It's not all the way, but it's a pretty wide window.
Yeah.
And it's gonna reactivate.
Yeah, so a lot of tricks you'll catch a little bit off center, and it's nice to have it activate. Now, I've had my board tuned to activate at that larger window for a long time now.
Totally. It's a game changer for reactivation.
It's fantastic, but one thing that I have noticed on the Classic, I don't really have any time on the GTS on the new tune, but on the Classic, it'll get kind of funky if you grab it sometimes and it's not at a perfect angle. It doesn't kind of mellow set you back into the right spot. The tire goes haywire and it jerks you back into the correct spot.
I've definitely had some scary situations, even just like hopping on and off the board, just like cruising around in the shop.
Yeah.
Where it activates when you're not expecting it to, and it yanks you. It almost throws you back.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I can actually, it's the same exact thing here. I can demonstrate it with my hands. If you go to re-engage it, you have to bring it all the way back to level. But if I do it pretty quickly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Which I feel like there's a way to smooth that. I mean, I've got mine a lot smoother on my board with that same like feature. Like, look how smooth that is to set into it.
Yeah, totally. So
that's the difference.
Yeah, the thinking behind it, I've talked to them a bit, and they really wanted to ensure that like if you get in that scenario where it deactivates and reactivates, they wanted to make sure it gets the level and grabs you as soon as possible. You know, if you're landing like high speed from a big jump or something like that, they really want to ensure that it picks you up and you're not like digging the nose in for a second on that landing or something like that. So that's why they have it as reactive as it is. But I mean, in my experience with Vesk, you can have it, I don't know what you have it set to right now, but in general, you can have it like, hold on.
I tuned it way down.
Okay, you have it's a lot more mellower right now. But you can have Vesk like re-level really damn quick to where it's back to level in like 0.1, 0.2 seconds, something like that.
Yep.
But it's still way freaking smoother. So I personally think there's a middle ground of they could smooth this out a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you exactly why it's doing what it's doing. On Vesk, when you engage, the set point where the board wants to be level starts at the angle that you engage the board at. And then it just brings that to level. But with the Onewheel, the moment you engage it, the set point is still level. It wants to go to level instantly, so it sees your nose is so far back from level that it almost like overshoots past level and then brings it back.
Yeah, which is why it shakes back and forth.
Yeah, so it's a little more extreme with my hands just because I don't have my weight like weighing it down, but even this, it's like, it can really sneak up on you and it doesn't feel
because you notice how much more of an aggressive kick in that is than if you just are off it for like 3 seconds. Yeah. And then just go to regular activate. Like, see how mellow that is to activate.
Yeah.
But then it's really aggressive with a kick.
Yeah, and I also worry, I haven't tried it much, but I do worry that kick could also make you more likely to like lose traction on a landing or something like that.
Well,
that's a lot of torque right away.
100%. Plus, if you land a little bit in the back seat, but your momentum's moving forward and your board kicks backwards to try to balance you, now all of a sudden it like exaggerates the whole entire thing. You want it to be a little bit of a smoother, like if you're forward, it'll catch you and bring you in.
Totally.
And keep it mellow. So yeah, I'm with you. That's my only gripe with the new update is that they made it ride more like the XR Classic, and that's like one of my biggest gripes with the Classic. Yeah. Even though I like the Classic, I think it's a good board. That's a big gripe for me on the firmware.
I will say, especially for aggressive riding and things, I definitely will take this over the board just being more likely to dump you.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
So we're just we're not trying to be too harsh on it. We're just coming from the perspective of like, with Vesk and everything, we've been through these issues, and we know how to make it smoother, and we want this to be, you know, smooth and nice riding experience.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, like, to be fully fair, dude, we're splitting hairs at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it rides, I mean, I grew up on the V1, man. Like, I came from the worst possible firmware all the way to what we have now, so it's like, it's 99% better than it used to be.
Totally.
But there's still like minor improvements that can be made, and those are the improvements we're talking about. So
that's what this is. Definitely, I talked about it before. With this update, kind of feels like a historical landmark, and like just how well of a like aggressive trail riding and racing board this is now. It's for the first time. This is a board that, I mean, I still will prefer Vesk over it personally. That's biased at this point just because I have so much more time on Vesk.
Yep.
But at the very least, it's a board that I would feel very comfortable and confident like racing on it.
Oh yeah, that board can win races.
Yeah, oh no question about that. But it feels a lot safer now.
Yeah.
You know, with Pushback, with the new re-engagement behavior and everything, I would have a lot more peace of mind and confidence that it's gonna keep me up and I'm gonna have the control that I need in any given situation.
100%.
So I think it's pretty cool.
Okay, cool. So overall, what do you give this update? Thumbs up, thumbs down? A solid 6 out of 10?
That's definitely a big thumbs up to me.
8 out of 10? 9
out of 10? I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
You know, and any other update they've done in the past has been, the grading tracking update was pretty cool, but this is really the first update where they went hard on like basically everything they changed was from community feedback. Like these were things that people were asking for and they're doing it. So the factory team is a big part of that. They're really like listening to people and like representing the community in a way with proposing these ideas. So I do think that's really cool. And it's exciting that they're kind of moving more in this direction. I hope they keep moving even more in that direction because other than this, Vesk is really our only other option. So it's cool to see this just more fleshed out the way it is now.
100%, man.
Totally.
Cool. Well, let's just go do some trail riding, go back to the shop and get back to work, yeah?
Sounds good.
Cool.
Let's ride.
We'll just hit an outro right here. Float on, my friends. Now enjoy some smooth trail riding.
Yep. Skirt.
Where's the dirt? Where's the trails? Found one.
Oh, but
oh, it's
potholes galore, dude. Quick little addendum. We were talking about things we want to see in future updates. One of them is right now dynamic responsiveness is on both the gas and brakes. I love it on the nose, but I would really like in certain situations to have it softer on the brakes to be able to really like slap the tail down, but still have a stiff nose for like drag race starts and things like that. So asymmetrical dynamic responsiveness would be freaking awesome. I'm sure they're trying to keep it simple, not too many parameters. There's already a bunch now, but that'd be cool to see. Like we talked about, smoothing that like re-engagement behavior. I really think there's a better balance you can find there to still get the responsiveness you need, but it not feeling like it's gonna kill you for a split second. The motor groan. With this update, they still have that really nasty motor groan, especially at low speeds under like high torque and stuff like that. Obviously, Vesk doesn't have this. I imagine this isn't really something they can easily resolve without like some major fundamental changes to the firmware, but the smoothness is something that's really appealing about Vesk. So if there's any way they can smooth that out to just make the board a bit more like quiet and more smooth feeling under the feet, I think that'd be a huge win. And lastly, re-leveling. We've said it so many times, and at this point it's pretty clear they don't really have any intention of allowing you to re-level your board.
Ride and switch.
I can't believe you rode it out carrying this camera. This thing weighs 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
I can't believe you ran that out switch. Dude,
That shit was
switch run
crazy.
out at speed.
It's the first one I've ever had.
I forgot you're riding
crazy.
switch, that's why I wouldn't have gone that fast.
Switch run out with the camera is wild.
And lastly, re-leveling. We've said it so many times before, and at this point it's pretty clear they don't really have any intentions of allowing you to re-level your board for different types of rails outside of the recurve rails, which require you to send in your board to do. So it's not ideal. I can get some of the concerns, but really, like, there's so many ways to bake in re-leveling that'd be like very safe. So at this point, all we can do is keep praying and hope they have a change of heart. Right now, it's not really looking like it, but
Never gonna happen.
until then, we're gonna keep asking for it. So re-leveling would be amazing. But yeah, we'll cut back to our little outro.